Hello and welcome back to Third Degree Food. I am Sam Caterer and this is the Third Degree Kitchen. Today we're going to be taking you through one of the most incredible cakes you can put in your mouth in the shape and form of the delicious Sicilian Lemon Drizzle Cake. It's absolutely incredible, really super simple to make, as is our ethos right here on Third Degree Food. So without further ado, I'm going to take you through the ingredients. What we have here is 175 grams of self-raising flour. We've got 100 grams of golden caster sugar. We're going to supplement the amount of sugar you need. You should actually put 150 grams thereabouts into the cake, but I've got 100 grams here. I'm going to supplement the rest with vanilla essence. If you've watched my other videos on cakes and ice creams, you will see that you can reduce the amount of sugar content of your cakes and ice creams by supplementing with some vanilla extract. It's a really good little tip. Got some Sicilian lemon extract here. Got 150 grams of unsalted butter, 2 organic eggs. We've got some salt for the butter to balance the sweet and salty. We've got 125 ml of full fat milk, 4 lemons and 150 grams of icing sugar, which we're going to make the syrup for the cake after it's taken out the oven, and also the beautiful white snow-like topping of the icing for the lemon drizzle. You're going to need a mixing bowl, a hand whisk. Now, you can use food processors, all types of blenders, KitchenAids and that malarkey, but I want to show you how simple this is to make at home very easily with what you have laying around. So you've got a hand whisk, got a lemon squeezer and a sieve to take the pips out. We're going to have to zest one of the lemons as well to add to the cake. And we got our 2-pound loaf tin. Now, I found these liners in a supermarket yesterday. It's an absolute game changer. If you can get hold of them, I recommend that you do so, because it makes making cakes in a loaf tin so much easier. I've been cutting parchment paper for years and it's never right. So these are absolutely incredible. It only costs like £2 or something like that, but I highly recommend you get a hold of one of these. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's start making our cake, shall we? So first of all, we're going to put our sugar into a bowl. And then we're also going to add our unsalted butter. That just plumps in there very nicely. Let's get the tea towel. Can get a bit messy. Of course, all our merchandise, our tea towels, as you can see, and aprons and oven gloves are available from shop.thirddegreefood.com. Every little bit of help, every bit of support goes a long way. And also, whilst you're watching, you might as well give us a little like and subscribe as well. Hit that notification bell for future videos also. If you don't mind, it would be very appreciated in advance. Thank you very much. So what we're going to do, we're going to cream up our butter and our sugar. You want your butter at room temperature. Only takes a couple of minutes. You want to incorporate it really nicely. And I'm going to give you a little tip with your flour as well, just to make your cakes just that little bit lighter also. So it's a little tip I picked up off my mum and it works every time. So we'll just finish this off. Next, we're going to add our eggs one at a time. If you want your cakes richer, you can add more eggs if you wish, like 3 or 4 eggs, but for the purpose of this video, I'm sticking to the original recipe that I invented. Get this mixed in there nicely. Okay, and then egg number 2. It's a super light cake. It's absolutely delicious, perfect with any cup of tea or what have you if you've got guests coming over. Now I'm going to grab a spatula because I want to get all that stuff off the side. And we are halfway through to making our cake. Just quickly nip that in there, scrape it on there. So what we're going to do now is going to add the zest of 1 lemon. So in a bowl, move that out of the way just quickly. Maybe you can catch us on all our social medias as well. thirddegreefood.com. Head over to Insta, give us a little follow. Head over to Facebook. And of course, you can give us a little like and subscribe on YouTube as well. So, the zest of the lemon is in there. I'm going to put this back into there. Scrape that off the back. That's all good. And then we're going to add our milk. And we're going to add a decent teaspoon of Sicilian lemon extract, because you want it to punch with flavour. And then we're going to go with a little bit of vanilla, just to supplement the lack of sugar in the cake. And there we go. And then of course, a decent pinch of sea salt, just for the balance there. And that's it, we're pretty much ready to go. We're just going to finish up mixing this in. Take it off the side. Seems to be dropping all over the gaff, but still, that is making cakes. Okay, so now for the little tip I was telling you about, I'll just wipe my hands there. We're going to sieve in the flour. Lovely and aerated in there. But we're not going to whisk it too hard. We're just going to let it pretty much fold it in. And now this allows the flour to work in the mixture. And obviously sieving it makes it super light anyway, so you don't want to bash it so it becomes a dense cake. The secret to the Sicilian lemon drizzle is lightness. Just sieve that in there. Push that through. And then we're good. I'm going to give it a little blitz, a little pulse with the mixer. Not much at all, you just want to incorporate the flour into the mix, but you don't want to bash it down. And there we go. That is going to be a super light cake. You can see already, just from the way it's sitting, it's absolutely gorgeous. That's going to be a super light cake. So we'll just get the last little bits into there. Like I say, you don't need to fold or mix all the flour in complete. That's going to happen in the oven when the butter melts. It's going to amalgamate together and just make this absolutely incredible, light, beautiful cake. Okay, so we need to get a spoon. And we've preheated our oven to 160 degrees. The cake's going to go into the oven for about 40 minutes. You've got to keep your eye on it. You don't want it to cook too fast, depending if you've got a fan oven or just a straight oven. You know, it varies slightly, but you just want to keep your eye on your cake. Check it every 10 minutes there or thereabouts. You don't want the top to split too much, although you want it to split a little bit. It's kind of like a personal preference. I like my cakes to be nice and round on top, so the icing just sits and just goes down the side. Incredible. But I've got my oven on at 160 degrees. It's going to go in for about 35-40 minutes, and you're going to have a perfect cake. So we're going to spoon out our mixture into the tin. You don't need to grease this either because it's already siliconed. This is the beauty of these tray liners. So, and they stretch as well. So just put this in here. This is probably going to triple in size. So there we go. Beautiful and light. It's almost like a Viennese, even though you've not heated the mixture. The last little bits in there. Okay, we just push that out to the sides. Smells divine already. I could eat it as it is, just on top of my cornflakes. Okay, so our cake is pretty much there. Okay, so we're going to take our cake and we're going to put it in the oven for about 35-40 minutes thereabouts at 160 degrees. So our cake is in the oven. It's going to be ready in about half an hour there or thereabouts. So we need to get ready the syrup, which we're going to pour over the cake whilst it's still warm and just resting in the tin, so it can absorb all that gorgeous lemon into the cake mixture and give you a fantastic cake. So what we have here, as I said before, we've got 150 grams of icing sugar. Now this is going to go into the pan with the juice of 2 lemons, which is going to make this beautiful elixir, which is going to permeate through, lovely and perfumey of lemon. It's just what you need in your lemon drizzle cake, and it makes it super moist. So what we're going to do, first and foremostly, we're going to grab a knife. We'll take the lemon that we zested, because that's what we want to do. And then we're going to literally squeeze the juice of 2 lemons. Absolutely gorgeous. And get another big one. You want a bigger lemon as possible because you want as much juice as possible in your lemon drizzle cake. Okay, I'm just going in with this. Smells incredible in the kitchen. Cannot wait for that cake to be ready and I can have a cup of tea. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go over to our hob and start making our syrup. Okay, so I'm going to take the lemon juice, take our strainer, and take our icing sugar. So first of all, we're going to strain off our lemon juice into a saucepan, catching all of those little pips in there. You don't want those in your syrup. A little shake around. Put that over to one side. And then we're going to add 150 grams of icing sugar. Now this is unrefined icing sugar. I prefer the organic, fair trade malarkey. It just sits better with you. And then we're going to warm this through until the icing sugar dissolves. Grab a little wooden spoon. Give us a little comment down below if you wouldn't mind. Let us know what you think of the video. Maybe give it a little share. Just want to get that in there. Look at that deliciousness. Don't worry about the lumps if you're using the unrefined stuff. It breaks down really easily. And this is going to be your syrup that you pour over the cake whilst it's resting. Oh, it smells incredible. Let that warm through. You don't want it to boil. You just want the sugar to dissolve. It's like a caramel almost because of that unrefined icing sugar. It's absolutely incredible. The lemon and the sweetness in there is just absolutely divine. So we're going to give that probably about 6 minutes. Turn it off. Let it chill for a bit. So whilst the syrup is coming together on the hob, let me take this opportunity to say thank you very much once again for joining us here on Third Degree Food. If you'd like to give us a little like and subscribe and smash that notification bell for future videos, we've got some awesome stuff coming up in the future. So every little help goes a long way and is greatly appreciated in advance. Anyway, back to the syrup. Keep that moving. Like I say, you don't want to boil it. It's like a lemony, sugary caramel. That is absolutely what you want. If you don't have the unrefined sugar, it's a lot clearer, the syrup. But I prefer this myself. Obviously, you can use any variation you like if you wish. You can actually make an orange drizzle cake as well. Remember, all our recipes are available on thirddegreefood.com. And of course, fully downloadable in the comments section down below. And that'll just about do. I think we are there with that. You see the consistency of this? It's just starting to come together. We don't want to cook it too much. So off the heat. It's a lovely lemony caramel. That's going to be absolutely off the chart. Look at that. Okay. So we leave the spoon out, just on the hob. Happy days until our cake comes out the oven. So as you can hear, the cake is ready. I'm just going to silence that alarm. It's looking fantastic, and the kitchen is smelling like a Parisian patisserie. It smells absolutely incredible in here. It smells like the house has been hit with a lemon, to be fair. So anyway, let's get our beautiful cake out of the oven. Get the gloves on because it's going to be quite warm. And we just chill that there. Oh wow, and that is exactly what you want. We bring our cake over to the cooling rack. As you can see, there's a little crack in the top here. That's okay. As the cake relaxes, that gap will close somewhat. But what we need to do now, whilst the cake is resting in the tin, is to make a few holes using a skewer, like a standard barbecue skewer. And you want to dot the cake with some holes so you can pour the syrup over the top. And a little tip with the skewer, you don't want to go all the way through. So you probably want about 4 or 5 holes per length so that the syrup can just sit really nicely in the cake. All different varying depths. So some you go deep, some you stay shallow. So you get a nice layer of the syrup sinking into the cake. And don't worry, these will not be visible because our icing is going beautifully over the top. Just put a couple of holes, different depths, like I say. It smells absolutely fantastic, this cake. That will do, I think. Maybe one more there. So what we need to do now is get our syrup, and you want to spoon this over the top. You don't want to pour it on because you want to be a little bit precise with where this goes. So just layer that over the top, and it's going to sink through the holes that you've created and go through the cake to give it a delicious lemony perfume and extreme flavour through the cake. The cake's going to be left to sit here for about 3 hours or so to cool before we add the layer of icing on the top. So whatever's residual on the top, you will see it's going to disappear into the cake. And it won't basically be like this. Just got a last little bit of syrup on that. And that's going to make the cake so moist. Okay, there we have it. That's going to sit there for about 3-4 hours whilst it cools down in the tin. It's fine, it's going to absorb all of that beautiful, delicious syrup. So, whilst the cake is resting and infusing with that beautiful lemon syrup, we're now going to make the icing on the cake, literally, pretty much. And what we're going to need to do is use half a lemon and about 100-150 grams of icing sugar. You'll be surprised how much icing sugar you need to make a nice thick white icing on the top. So what we're going to do, take juice of half a lemon, just like that. Take the larger one, I think. Give it a good squeeze. And then we're going to pour this into our bowl and strain out any pips. We may need some more lemon, possibly. We'll see how we go. But you can always add that later because we're not cooking this. We're literally just making a sugar and lemon mixture. It's not hard at all. So we're spooning a good few spoonfuls of the icing sugar. Get a gauge of the thickness. We'll start mixing that around. Just like so. Incorporate all that icing sugar. So that's a really good base here. That's where you want to start, nice and incorporating. Now we're going to add some more icing sugar as we go. You want it really thick, nice and stiff mixture, because it's going to sit really nicely on a cake. You don't want to be running down the side. That's why you have to leave the cake to cool down, otherwise it will make it a runny top. But if you have a nice thick icing, and it is absolutely delicious with the lemon coming through the sugar, it's nice and thick. It looks like you got it from a shop. Really simple. As usual, you can get all our recipes thirddegreefood.com. Visit our merch store as well, shop.thirddegreefood. You get aprons, trivets, oven gloves. Obviously, this is one of the aprons. It's absolutely wicked. Protects your clothes very nicely indeed. Okay, so we're getting thicker in here. As you can see, it's becoming nice and stiff. Incorporate all that sugar on the side. And we are going to need all of this because we want it to be very thick indeed. So in we go with the rest of the icing sugar. And this will thicken up whilst it sits there as well. So whilst we're waiting for the cake to relax and rest and cool down, this will be thickening up very nicely. Yeah, that's very good indeed. Fabulous. And there we have it. There is your delicious icing for the top of the cake. Leave the spoon there. We're going to cover that and leave it for about another 2 hours or so, and then we'll cover the cake very nicely with the icing. Back in a bit. So, welcome back. I'm glad you're still with me. It's been about 3 hours since we took our delicious lemon drizzle cake out of the oven and let it sit in our luxurious syrup. And now it's time to turn her out onto our serving dish. And in order to do that, there's a few things we need to do. I've cut a little bit of greaseproof paper because we're going to have to turn the drizzle cake out onto a board and then turn it back onto our serving tray. So we don't want it to stick. So first things first, we take our cake and we place our chopping board, this one, on the top. Let's turn it over. A little bit tricky. And then we take off the loaf tin. And then we peel away this liner from the tray. These are absolutely fantastic, I've got to say. Absolutely works every time perfectly. So bang that over there for now. It's lovely and sticky, this cake. It smells amazing as well. It's absolutely divine. Next, we're going to place our serving dish there, like so, and flip over our cake so that she's not damaged. Place that over there. And now we're going to put the icing on the cake. No pun intended. Oh my goodness, it smells so lemony in here. So first of all, give you a little straighten. We're going to take our icing sugar that we made earlier and just liberally apply with a spoon on top. Nice thick white icing sugar with the lemon base, if you remember. And then we're going to use our spatula, once we get all this out of here, to push this all to the edges. We could probably use a spoon, to be fair. It's loose enough. Now, normally I would leave this overnight and have it the next day. However, I really fancy a cup of tea, and this is the perfect accompaniment. So we're going to push this just liberally round to the edges. I think I will use a spatula. A little tip with the spatula when you're doing this, give it a little wet in some water. Let's place that over there. And you can easily manipulate your icing. Just push it to the sides. You don't want to go through the icing, you want to keep it nice and evenly spread. It doesn't matter if it drips down the side, it all adds to the beauty of the cake. That's absolutely incredible. One last bit here. Got to take your time with this. You can't rush making your cake beautiful. That's why girls take so long to put their makeup on, I suppose. Anyway, give me your comments down below. Please do. feel free. And obviously give us a little like and subscribe as well. Hit that notification bell. I am so hungry. I've been smelling this cake all afternoon. I've got my tea ready, got my milk ready, and I've got a plate. We're going to tuck in very, very shortly. I've just got one more thing to do before we serve this cake. And look at that. It's just running down beautifully. That's exactly what you want. Let's move this out of the way. And a pièce de résistance to your lemon drizzle. You can top it with whatever you want, but I personally like a little bit of lemon zest over the top. Just finish it off really nicely. It's just a beautiful addition. You can even get those little lemon segments from like a local supermarket or what have you. This just finishes it really nicely with the zest. Just flick that on there. Just finishes the cake beautifully. You just got to take your time with your cakes. You can't rush this. It will pay off dividends in the end. Okay, just finish that off. Just one more little fleck on there. And there we have it, our delicious lemon drizzle cake. I cannot wait to get a slice of this. As I say, usually I would leave it overnight so it just gets a nice little harden to the icing. But for the purpose of the video, I am going to tuck in now because it's been driving me nuts. So let's grab our tea. This has been brewing for the last 3 minutes or so. Get ourselves ready. Okay, get ourselves a knife and a moment of truth. I'm going to take the middle bit because the end bit can keep the cake nice and fresh. That is absolutely incredible. Look at that. For the purpose of the video, I'm going to bring that to the camera. Absolutely gorgeous. And we're coming in with this much cake here. Okay, lay that onto the knife. It's so moist, it's delicious. What a cake. What an absolutely delicious piece of cake. As you can see that. Now I'm going to lay this just here like this. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Sam Caterer and I've been showing you how to make the most delicious Sicilian lemon drizzle cake. And now the moment of truth. I'm going to grab a bit of the cake. Oh, it's just so light. It's just falling. Excuse me. You should really use a fork. But in this instance, I just want to get in there. That is absolutely scrumptious. The syrup has come straight through the cake. The icing is delicious. It just punches full of lemon. It's everything you want from a cake. It's moist. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I've been Sam Caterer and this has been how to make Sicilian lemon drizzle cake on Third Degree Food. Give us a little like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I'm going to go and finish this cake. It's absolutely amazing. See you next time. This cake, wow.